Hi guys, I am Shazad and welcome in this video. Today we're gonna discuss about the input groups and also the ranges. We have the button group. Similarly, we have the input groups. And how can you select the range? How can you define the range? Make sure this kind of functionality available in the e-commerce. Like if you are defining the range, that means if you are filtering something, you have a price range that you are finding a particular item from $100 to $300. So definitely you have to select a particular range. So how can you do that? Let's get started. I'm saying that this is the range. Okay, I can also type the code here in my editor, but I'm not going to type the code from scratch. I'm going to define the things here. So as you can see, this is just a label. We are using the class form label and we are using custom range 1. Why we are using here? Because we are using the ID here. So whenever we use ID for a particular element, we have to use the ID here with for, because this is the label for this one. Okay, for the range, you just need to use the range. Input type equals to range, class form range. You just need to use the form range. Define your ID here and define your ID here for this particular element. This is the same concept for our forms. Just use the disable. If you want to disable the element, you can use the minimum and also the maximum by using the min and max. The rest of the code is the same. You can also use the steps, like if you're saying 0.5 or 1. So this is a step 0.5. Okay, increasing 0.5. Okay, so this is the range. If you click on the input group, so we have discussed about the button groups or input groups in our previous lectures. If you talk about the forms, we have input groups. As you can see, easily extend form, controls by adding text, button, and blah blah blah. You can read the entire documentations available on the Bootstrap. You know very well that we have created thousands of lectures and 65 plus courses. I think we are working for 7 to 8 years. So we mostly use the concepts of we always prefer the practical instead of the reading the entire documentations while creating our lectures. So that's why we are saying that if you want to read the entire documentation, just go to the website and read the entire documentations. Okay, as you can see, this is the basic examples. So fine. As you can see, this is the input group. That means we are grouping two elements in a single input group. And as you can see, we are saying that this one and this one span at with this one. Input type equals to text. If you copy this code and paste this code here, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, we are grouping these two elements. One is the label. This is not a label, it's a span. Just we are using the add with this one. We are grouping this to this one. This is the same thing. Form control. Why placeholder? To show the username here inside your text element. This is a basic thing, and just ignore these two things: Arial label and Arial describe body. Okay, now we are grouping at with this one. We are grouping this to this one. As you can see, the input group, and now first element this one and the second element this one. Here we are using the span as a first element, input as a second element. Here input as a first element, span is a second element. As you can see, this is one. And for this one, basic URL, this label outside of the input class for this one. Okay, now input group, you are saying span and text, basic URL ID, and also we are defining basic URL here basic URL. So this is ID and this is for the label, and we are grouping these two things here. So similarly, you can also read the entire documentations, and they are saying wrapping. How can you wrap this one? You can also use the sizing concept, like here as you can see it's saying input group small. You can also use the input group large and the default one. Checkbox and the radio, you can also define checkbox like this. You can also group the checkbox and also the radio, and you can also group this one, multiple inputs, this. So you are grouping two inputs in a single row or in an inline, these two inputs, 1 2. Okay, you can also use the multiple add-ons. Read this one. We also have a button add-ons. Let's suppose if you need a text box with a button, you can also use this one. Okay, now button with drop downs. So this is drop downs and this is text. Same things. You can also, as you can see, input, and this is the UL and LIs. Fine. Okay, segments. We also have the entire things here, like custom file. You can also group your text with your custom files. As you can see, this is a button and this is the input type equals to file. So in this way, you can manage your input groups, or you can group your elements by using Bootstrap 5. Okay guys, so this is the input group and also the ranges available in Bootstrap 5. So I hope guys you are enjoying our video. So thank you for watching.